Good Saturday evening to everybody. It's now a best of 2 of 3 here in the NBL Finals between the London Lightning and the Halifax Hurricanes. Let's quickly run down the starting five. Kyle Johnson, Junior Cadogan, Garrett Williamson, Royce White, and Ryan Anderson for the London Lightning. Tyrone Watson, Cliff Clinkscales, Antoine Mason, Renato Dixon, and Billy White. My name is Dan Hobson, joined alongside by my broadcast colleague Vince Williams, and of course we just had a tribute there to Wade Smith, and of course you can have a couple of words if you want to talk about it, as you've known him for all those years.
Wade Smith was definitely a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, definitely a guy I looked up to as a very young child, and he was a guy in the community that gave a lot back to his community, and he never ever said no when people asked for help, or he reached out to people that needed help. He gave me my first basketball job as an assistant coach at St. Patrick's High School, and I mean, I basically owe a lot to that man, and I owe a lot to the upbringing and the man. He has helped me be the man that I am today, and I just want to say I know he's looking down upon us right now, and I just want to say rest in peace, Wade, and he'll never be forgotten, and I'll miss him, and I love him very much.
Yeah, our thoughts and condolences are to his family here, and but of course, this is where he loved to be, inside the basketball arena or gymnasiums, and that's what it is, the big Game 5 here for the Hurricanes. They need to come away here with a victory. It's not a do-or-die situation, but they definitely could control their own destiny with 2 games to go in London, starting on Monday and then Tuesday, Game 6 and Game 7. But both of these teams impressive at home, and this is what faces the Halifax Hurricanes. They don't get the victory here tonight. They'll have to try to do something that a lot of teams in the NBL have not been able to do, and that's win at the Budweiser Gardens. 24-2, an impressive record. That's what faces the Hurricanes. So they're hoping to use this hometown crowd to their advantage to come away with the victory. In the meantime, the London Lightning want to have maybe one less victory to their goal of 11 wins. That's what it takes to win a championship. They're looking for number 10 tonight, Vince.
Yeah, it's a must-win situation for both of these teams, as Game 6 is definitely an elimination game for somebody. And for Halifax, they got to duplicate what they did in game number 4. They got to bring the intensity. They know that Royce White has returned, and they got to know that Royce White is going to try to find his mark early in this game, but they got to match the intensity, and they got to, first of all, attack the rim and be very aggressive offensively.
First possession belonging to the Hurricanes. And of course, they're without the services of CJ Washington. Was talking to him before the game. He's got a back injury, and he could be probably not playing here for the remainder of the series. Shot clock at 3, Dixon over Williamson, and it bounces in and out. The first possession there took a lot off the 24 shot clock, and they gave up empty as we take a look at Junior Cadogan crossing the timeline here as we've just passed the 30-second mark. Royce White back into the game, as Vince mentioned. Averaged 20 points per game in the regular season and playoffs. Missed because of a suspension. And a London Lightning getting things started there. Kyle Johnson. Johnson, of course, was a member of the Great Britain's national basketball team at the Olympics in 2012, Vince.
Yeah, Kyle Johnson is very good, and he can get it going from beyond the arc. In game number 2, he was very good, 6 for 8 from beyond the arc. Finished up with 24 points in 21 minutes, so he can get it going. Can't let that guy get hot.
Mason gets the shooter's bounce and gets the 3.
That's not a bad start for Mason, and Mason's been very good in this series. Definitely one of the highlights for the Hurricanes, as he's been pretty much unstoppable in spurts offensively, Dan.
There's a rare miss there by Royce White. He had the good one-on-one matchup and actually beat his man. There's our first foul of the game called here by John Hunt. The other 2 officials, Danny Patterson and Paul Hansen. Hansen being the crew chief here tonight. Patterson, of course, was named one of the top officials in the NBL just a couple of days ago, giving the ball to Clinkscales to inbound, as you see right now. There is Tyrone Watson back out to meet Antoine Mason now. Royce White guarding right out there. Dixon decides to put the 3 up. That's too strong. Cadogan comes up with another rebound and quickly goes back the other way as we approach the 2-minute mark. End-to-end, Junior Cadogan, and 1.
Yeah, Junior Cadogan was very good in game number 4 as well. Definitely picked up the slack in the non-existent presence of Royce White, as he had a very nice move to the rack there, was able to pick up the foul, and now we'll go to the line to finish the three-point play. But he's been pretty good and consistent throughout the series, Cadogan, at the point guard position for the Lightning.
11 points, game number 4, 2 of 2 from the stripe, but can't hit and complete the three-point play, so it remains 4-3 for London as we do approach the second minute gone here in the opening quarter. Good crowd on hand here at the Scotiabank Center, and John Hunt has another foul. This one going against Kyle Johnson.
Lightning foul on Kyle.
It'd be their second, his first.
Foul number 2.
We take a look at John Hunt and Billy White there on your screen right now. 9:57 left. Playing scales to White from Watson, and he shoots the long distance too.
Yeah, they got to have Billy good this evening. Billy has to be good offensively, stay out of foul trouble. Nice stroke and jump shot from 16 feet.
Oh, they came over double team, but not in time, and that's what Royce White can do.
Oh, they're going to feed the beast early and often in this quarter. Royce White is going to be involved in their offense pretty much every time down in their half-court set, Dan. The Hurricanes have to be ready for that, and they got to decide how they're going to match up.
Watson goes cross court. Clay Scales, White for 3, no good. And Johnson comes up with the ball there for the London Lightning and crosses the timeline as we approach the 3-minute mark of the opening quarter. Johnson, and that's a 3. So they're getting that start that they want and probably want to take this big crowd out of it, Vince.
Yeah, good rhythm, good shot coming out of the half-court set for Johnson. Johnson, consecutive shots, knocking him down, so you can see that they're trying to get 2 guys in particular involved in their offense early. Royce White and Kyle Johnson, those guys are very good from an inside-outside game perspective. Now, if you can get Garrett Williamson to follow along and get Ryan Anderson back to his form that he had in game number 3, they're going to be pretty tough this evening for the Hurricanes to match up.
Previous foul was Junior Cadogan. That's his second, so he finds some time on the bench, and Doug Herring Jr. enters as Watson drives a little finger roll for the bucket. 9-7 now.
And that's very difficult to guard if you're Anderson or Williamson trying to contain Watson inside the post. That guy is an absolute monster when he's at least 3 to 4 feet away from the basket.
Doug Herring Jr. short, but he was telling them to get the offense going with some hand action, wanting to get some movement, and got the shot, but unable to drain it that time. Here's Billy White, backs in on Royce White.
Yeah, Billy's got to attack Royce on the defensive end.
Anderson with the steal off Tyrell Watson, bounce past Doug Herring Jr. A little bit of a touch there by Watson. No call, but the bucket.
Yeah.
Most importantly, 11-7.
Nice play in transition by the Lightning. You can see the Lightning like to get out to the open floor when they get those one and dones, and they got good finishers in Doug Herring Jr. That's his shot more so than the three-point ball.
Watson against Anderson, back open. Williamson gets a piece of it, now has the ball quickly up. Doug Herring Jr. numbers, Johnson, bucket.
Yeah, consecutive runouts, consecutive transition buckets. So you can see they're not settling for their half-court set. They like to get in their half-court set so they can get Royce White involved into the game. But if they can get into the open floor and get transition buckets, they can finish at the rim. And that was a nice play there by Doug Herring Jr., giving up that basket to Johnson, who made no mistake converting on that transition.
Clay Scales drives and no finish. Anderson quickly up. Doug Herring Jr. lid on the bucket there for the Hurricanes. Johnson fakes, but he took too many steps and is going to turn the ball over.
That was a tough play there for Johnson. They had numbers. Good heads-up play, cross-court pass by Herring Jr., but a beautiful run out and making sure that Johnson doesn't get that easy look by Ronaldo Dixon.
Hurricanes trying to get something going. They're down by 2 possessions already here, and we're approaching that halfway point. Mason swings the ball into the corner. The shot clock is at 7. Clank Scales. Mason gets the return for 3, and it didn't even hit 10 as he hit the backboard. And struggling the last 3 trips down out of Halifax Hurricanes. Anderson, as Vince mentioned, was cold. Even though it was 11 points, he was really had a tough shooting from the field.
Oh yeah, very difficult night.
2 or 3 or 24 last game.
Yeah, not good at all. Probably his worst game as a pro. Definitely vowed to make sure he corrects that in game number 4, and it doesn't happen in game number 5. Very important game for both of these teams that we mentioned. We're going to talk about that throughout the broadcast because it's going to be part of the storyline. They need to win this game. One of these teams need to take advantage because they know if Halifax goes to Bud Gardens, it's going to be very difficult to win 2 in a row, as you mentioned.
And Johnson there, not defended, had all kinds of daylight and time and puts it back, and it's 15-7. And you were talking about Billy White in staying out of foul trouble. He just got the latest Hurricanes foul, his first trying to take, and now it's going to be called for the foul there by Danny Patterson, and Kyle Julius has got his arms out wondering what he did. Williamson going to be called for it. Should be his first as we take a look at it.
You can see there, battle on the rim there. Oh, almost gave it up there. Yeah, there was a slight push there by either Garrett Williamson. It looked like he pushed him from behind, so it looked like the right call. You could pretty much put it on Williamson or Royce White because it looks like both of them shoved Billy White in the sternum there and one in the back.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with there was accusations of Billy White punching Ryan Anderson in the neck in game number 3. So the thing is, White's got a little bit of a target there on him by the officials, and also by the London Lightning. Kyle Julius still was trying to plead his point to Danny Patterson, but to no avail. Turnover here. Hurricanes get things going in transition. Doug Herring Jr. with the nice hands to take it out of Dixon's hands. It rolls towards the corner, and the Hurricanes come up with it. Crowd showing their appreciation. 5:45 left to go, 9 to shoot. Alley-oop, White! And unsuccessful, he couldn't catch the pass. Here comes Royce White there, the MVP, going end to end, and whoa.
Look for a foul, no call coming. Bad pass, though.
Oh yeah, that was a lame duck thrown up there by the Hurricanes. Garrett Williamson, count it, and he'll go to the stripe.
Yeah, careless play, uncharacteristic run out and long pass that was picked off in transition as Williamson, not sure where the foul was. Looked like there was some contact on the first attempt, but it looks like the call's on Clint Scales, and that's his second. So that's a big foul call on Clint Scales. You don't want your general, your guy that you rely on to handle the basketball, not turn it over, and make sure that the turnover to assist ratio is at a plus in the category for assists. So early opportunity for Coach Mike Leslie to do some game management here, and wondering what he's going to be thinking and what direction he's going to go with it.
Yeah, it's early decision time here for the coach, talking to the coaching staff of the Halifax Hurricanes office, and they were pretty well saying, well, we have to play our game. They haven't been really playing their game right now, and that's the reason why they are down by 8 here in the early going. And the London Lightning, they were pretty well confident there, knowing that their big man was back into the fold, and they just were in the game throughout the entire night there, Thursday night, in game number 4 of this series, but it sort of got away there in the 4th. So just the fact that he's back in the lineup has given them a little bit of a boost here in the early going.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be all night long. They're going to try to get that ball inside the Royce and let Royce go to work. And as you can see on that previous possession down, Royce handling the ball in transition. The guy can handle the basketball just like the guards out there, so he's quite talented offensively. And I'm thinking, if I'm Coach Kyle Julius, knowing that I have my best player and the best player in the league wasn't available for the previous game and has an opportunity to get things going for game number 5 and pretty much give him an opportunity to win the championship at home, I'm going to tell Royce White, be aggressive often and make sure that it's smart aggression, and make sure you don't take any cheap fouls. Make sure that you're in the game and you're able to be very productive positively, and making sure that you're on the floor being a leader.
Williamson 74.6 in the regular season and playoffs, and was 4 of 8 from the stripe, connects that time, and it's a 9-point game. And this crowd that was really vocal at the start here, they have come to a hush here. 5:17 left to go here in the first. Mason had Doug Herring Jr. bugging him. Blake Scales will swing it over to the other side. The clock at 5. Mason puts it up, and he's short. And Royce White comes up with the rebound. looking for a little bit of help, and Doug Herring Jr. comes just in the nick of time as he slid to the floor at the Scotiabank Center. Here is Doug Herring Jr. Used to see him putting up big numbers, but as Vince mentioned earlier mentioned in the broadcast Thursday night, playing a little bit of a role here with the London Lightning. 4 points. Here's an alley-oop that's unsuccessful. It goes out of bounds, and the offense looking a little sluggish here for the Hurricanes, Vince.
Uncharacteristic errant pass there by Clint Scales, and that's the 4th turnover of the ball game for the Hurricanes. Not shooting particularly well not shooting particularly good as well, 3 for 11 from the field at 27%, and London Lightning shooting a blazing 57% from the field, 8 for 14, so they need to match the intensity.
Here's Capers, who had a big game as Marvin Phillips was trying to come up with the ball and lost the 50-50 battle that time. Haywood taking the spot of Clink Scales now, trying to run the offense here for the Hurricanes. 4:17 left to go, 18-9. Mason on the take. He's fouled. He'll go to the stripe. Foul goes against the former Hurricane, Joel Friesen, as we take a look at it here on the replay. There he is on the one-on-one. And Friesen hits the dirt here at the Scotiabank Center as Mason will go to the line. Was 8 of 11 in game number 4. We're in the season, 67.6%, and sinks the first. And makes it 18-10. Antoine Mason attended New Rochelle High School and was the Athlete of the Year as his senior year. And he gets it to go, and it makes it a 7-point game, 18-11. Marcus Capers was the high man in game number 4 on Thursday. Entry pass, Royce White backs in, double team. Capers was going for the layup, and he's hacked. And that's the thing, is the Hurricanes know that they got a double team White, but that makes it almost an easy opportunity for all the other big men inside there for London.
Yeah, Capers has had a very nice finals since being injected into this series in game number 3. Coming off the bench, and he did an outstanding job in that game. Was able to be the high man for, I think he was the high man in game number 3 for the Lightning, and they were definitely depending on his hot shooting and just carrying over. And you could just see the confidence exuding from him. And he's been very good, and he's got to be definitely a joy for Coach Kyle Julius to have that type of guy coming off your bench, knowing he's going to give you quality minutes.
Well, you mentioned Kyle Julius because Capers played with him at Mississauga as part of the Power. And then when Julius went to London, so did Capers as well.
Well, he definitely knew something, and it definitely hasn't been disappointed in the offense and defensive output from Capers in that reserve role. Definitely dependable and reliable as Capers.
3:39 left to go. Mason over White for 3 and gets it. And they needed that bucket. It makes it 20-14 in a 2-possession game.
And no sense Royce White closing out all the way if he's not going to put a hand up on Antoine Mason. You got to know that Mason's been very good in this series, and he's not going to miss many of those shots. You got to challenge him and make it difficult.
Royce White might have got away with 1 or 2 elbows there of Bernardo Dixon and gets the drive in the bucket, and it's 22-14. Here is Haywood, the former Spew product, crossing the timeline. Capers on him, and Capers going to be called for the foul as Haywood probably got a step there on him and blown down there by Paul Hansen. And it's a 6-team foul, 3:04 left to go. Mason now to Watson with the clock at 9. They'll go cross court. Dixon for 3, yes! Back-to-back trays there. Mason and then Dixon. It's a 5-point game.
Yeah, those guys have been very good throughout the series. And Ronaldo Dixon and Antoine Mason, very, very good from beyond the arc. They got to find a way, to continue to get these guys those open looks. But if you're the London Lightning, you got to run these guys off the line.
Good defense there by the Hurricanes. Double team. Now they got numbers 4 back. And Mason with the layup. And quickly up. The lead pass is all of a sudden Friesen was trying to go for the home run ball. Mason for 3. Short. but they end up coming up with the ball and a new clock. Scotiabank Center enjoying it, and the bucket! And now it's a 1-point game, and Julius wanting to calm the rivers here will call timeout, 2:07 left.
Yeah, and he is upset. He's having a word, and he's not happy with the fans. That is Kyle Julius. He's not happy.
Here we go again, round 2 possibly.
Yeah, but nevertheless, though, he had no choice. You can see the replay here. Beautiful run, unselfish basketball, no-look pass by Billy White, and Antoine Mason finishing at the rim. But we're used to accustomed to seeing here at Scotiabank Center as he's very good finisher in transition. But I mean, if you're the London Lightning and you want to get a timeout, this is the perfect time to have the timeout because they need to settle things down. As you mentioned early in this quarter that they took the crowd out, and they had the crowd out up to about the 3-minute mark left in this first quarter. But then a turnover here, a shot here, back-to-back threes, a transition bucket, another turnover, and another transition bucket off a missed shot. They're able to get another opportunity, the second chance opportunities. Now we got a new ball game. Now we got new life. Hurricanes matching the intensity of the London Lightning. The London Lightning need to pick it back up. So a good timeout call here by Coach Kyle Julius as he's trying to break up that momentum.
Yeah, early numbers here from the start. Mason in double figures already, 12 points, the high man so far of the game. And for the London Lightning, Kyle Johnson with 9. Perfect from the field, 4 of 4. And as I was mentioning, it looks like there was going to be possibly round 2 as Kyle Julius was not happy with the fans sitting in the front row here at the Scotiabank Center. Had some pointing going on, and just close to our broadcast location, a couple of the security members here talking things over. So the thing is that this has been a series that we have seen really crazy things. Players jumping in the stands, ownership group chasing coaches. The next thing I'm waiting for is to see somebody come from the rafters naked jumping down.
And the ball thrown into
the crowd, yes,
the crowd
that's another
well.
one.
So we've had pretty much a little bit of everything here at Scotiabank Center in the first 2 games, and now following in the final and third game here in game number 5. Who knows what we're going to get for game 6 and game 7.
Yeah, it will be
possibly game 7 if one of these teams can manage to close things out in game number 6.
It's a possibility of this after this one's done, an elimination game is Doug Herring Jr., as you see on your screen, gets a bucket. That gets him off the slide here, and it's a 3-point game, 24-21. A minute and 45 left to go, first quarter.
Yeah, good response coming out of that timeout. Good half-court set and execution for the Lightning. Just what they needed to try to reset here and grab back the momentum.
Haywood puts on the Jets over Anderson, and a tough shot, but it goes.
Got to get Joey Haywood going. That second unit definitely is important this evening for the Hurricanes if they're going to be successful. And a beautiful step-back jumper there by Haywood.
Marvin Phillips lost the handle, but right there was White. White gives it back to Phillips there. Shot clock at 7. White gets over, not in the nick of time, and Marcus Capers' second chance opportunity. Putback goes in.
Major collision, though, Dan, underneath the basket between Phillips and White. And White looked like he got the worst of it as Phillips was to his feet.
The demolition derby is back again.
Yeah, and a crowd ensues here. You can see in the replay. Nice up fake as he was able to get Ronaldo to get out of the picture there. And it looks like Billy had a collision there through the follow-through between him and Phillips. Billy just making it to his feet here, and that's not a good sign as he's unable to put any pressure on that right leg. In particular, it looks like it's either the ankle or the knee. So you hope that Billy White's going to be okay and be able to come back.
Well, it was both of these teams are probably, you'd say, maybe a little bit banged up. It's the playoffs, and C.J. Washington unable to answer the bell here, not even dressed. So there's him out of the lineup, and then you take Billy White, you're down to 10, and then you have to play Coriate DeBerry, and he has not seen a lot of playing time here in these playoffs, has Barry. As Haywood drives, rejected, Capers.
Yeah, Capers has been an absolute monster when it comes to defending and protecting the rim.
And Herring Jr. starting to warm up. That's 5 for him. I mentioned 4 in game 4. He's already surpassed that. And we're just seconds shy from the end of the first quarter. Haywood calling for a play. Anthony Cox is in for Billy White. Spins away from Capers. And Royce White thought he rejected, but he's going to be called for the foul and has his hands on his hips.
Yeah, that's a matchup that the Hurricanes can
Actually,
exploit.
they call it capers, pardon me.
They have to exploit that matchup. Capers 6'4", matched up on Anthony Cox. Cox 6'8", a true center. Capers more of a guard, playing out of position. But Royce White coming late with the help, unable to get that block, and it looks like the foul is on Capers and not on White, so they dodge a bullet there. The Lightning, that is.
Yeah.
So a matchup that they definitely need to go to a little bit more often if they can carry over these two lineups remain the same in the second quarter, that is.
Been a struggle for the Stripe for Cox this season at the line, 63%. Did not shoot any free throws in Game 4. Had limited minutes. But he'll go 1 or 2 that trip. And it's a 5-point game, 29-24. Coming up to 30 seconds left to go. Halifax has a couple of fouls to give here. And there's an 8 seconds difference between the game clock, shot clock, as White powers in and gets the easy bucket.
Yeah, it's been relatively easy inside for Royce White. Not much resistance or rim protection as they're playing man-to-man, and I'm sure that's got to be an adjustment that needs to be fixed in the second quarter.
No fouls to give for the London Lightning. There's the 3 there by Mike Poole, a big one. And Anderson throws up the prayer. That's no good, but a good bounce back there as the teams went back and forth there in the opening 12. Both teams had their chances to go on runs. They've been stopped. As we take a look here at the final possession here for the Hurricanes, Poole and the deep 3.
Yeah, that seems to be what's happening defensively because the Lightning are packing the paint. That late rotation and closeout for the 3-ball has been coming real late, Dan, and the Hurricanes' best shooters are getting those opportunities from beyond the arc, and right now they are making them. They're 4 for 9 from distance in that quarter, so if this trend continues, that's going to be a pretty good uplift for them, but they can't settle for threes because they got into that situation in game number 3 where they were settling for threes and they weren't attacking the rim, and it kind of came back to bite them in that third and especially in that fourth quarter where they were unable to knock down any shots, and the Lightning went on that 24-6 run and pretty much closed the show, and they were able to capture that 2 games to 1 lead going into game number 4.
Yep, statistical numbers, London Lightning 13 of 22 from the field, as for the Hurricanes 9 of 21. So the shooting percentages have to put Halifax Hurricanes, they were a little cold, and they've got up to the 42% mark, and the London Lightning,
at one
fantastic,
point,
59%.
Yeah, well, absolutely. At one point, it was only like 27% then in that first time-out call where there was a stoppage of play. There was only 27%. They were shooting abysmal from the floor there, and they were behind by almost double digits. But they rewrited the ship here at the end of this quarter, and they're able to find some guys with some open shots, and they're able to knock down shots. And that's been the key throughout this series. Finding guys, the open shooter, and the open shooter knocking down the shots. That's been the separation, a little bit of separation, even though these teams are relatively even when it comes to talent. And that's the reason why we have a 2-2 series tie. And we're in game 5 here, and there's the all-important swing game where we're going to mention it once again. Whoever wins this game, it's an elimination game in game number 6, and the Lightning would love to steal game number 5 here, and knowing that they have game number 6 and an opportunity to win their 3rd championship, you got to think that they're probably going to have 8,000 or 9,000 people pack the Bud Gardens for that game.
Well, you also mentioned it in our broadcast of some of the in the series here in game number 3. December 26 was their first loss. This is the regular season. Their first and only loss in the regular season at the Budweiser Gardens. The other loss came in the playoff run in the finals here against the Halifax Hurricanes. So
yeah,
that's the thing. As I said, it's funny to say it's a 2-2 series. It's a must-win for Halifax because it's going to be really hard,
very difficult
to win 2 straight.
Well, the odds will definitely be stacked against them.
It's tapped out. Poole trying to plead with Danny Patterson that it's Hurricanes basketball, but to no avail. And now the London Lightning, Doug Herring Jr., the veteran, the former mill rat, Out on the floor with the ball inside the Capers, kick out. There's Royce White there. You can see double team. Cox on him.
Yeah, they got a double team and forced Royce White into a passer and not a shooter.
Phillips, that shot was not, I don't know if Dixon got a piece of it or not, but Dixon did at least get in the neighborhood to make that shot hard. But they're going to get a new clock as Doug Herring Jr. with an elbow in on Haywood. Back out. White for three, yes.
Wow. What can he not do? But you can live with that shot. If Royce White's going to beat you this evening, he's got to beat you from that distance. You can't allow Royce White easy buckets around the rim, as he's been very good this evening. And if Royce White can knock down that three ball, then go right ahead, Royce.
Cox now on the end line. Probably should have taken it all the way because it's almost picked off by Herring Jr. Poole, corner three, and misses everything. And foul called on the loose ball, called by John Hunt there on the sideline.
Yeah, it looked like Anthony Cox cleared out spaces. He basically removed Marcus Capers from underneath the basket. Capers had outstanding position on the block out.
Mike Scales back into the game, as you see, as we take a look at the sharp-dressed Mike Leslie, as usual here. Saturday night here in Halifax, game number 5 of the NBL Finals. Anderson now. Clank Scales on him. They'll swing it over to Phillips, veteran in this league. He's watched by Dixon. Back out. Friesen. Phillips, the clock at 8. Now drives in the paint. Partially blocked there by Dixon, but Ryan Anderson, right place, right time, and the bucket. And it's a 9-point game, so the strong finish that the Hurricanes had in that first quarter. Not so strong here in the early stages of the second. Clank Scales now, Mike Poole. Poole in the one-on-one against Anderson now. Here is Haywood spinning away. Shot clock at 7. Dixon gonna put it over White for 3. That's no good. And there's a fight underneath the hoop there, and a loose ball foul called. That's going against the London Lightning, and it's Marvin Phillips foul, his first. And Williamson for the London Lightning returns.
Yeah, good hustle displayed by Anthony Cox on that long 3, as he was able to get around Marvin Phillips. But that's what you get from Cox, his activity on the offense and defensive boards. He's got to bring it this evening.
Poole is double teamed there by Anderson and White. Friesen trying to go, fouled there by Haywood. And a chance to knock him down from the charity stripe.
Yeah, good take there by Friesen in transition. Was able to gather himself and control himself in the body. Nice run-out pass in transition. He picked up the contact there, and it looks like it's going to go on. The first one, that would be on Joey Haywood in transition. So good take there by Joel Friesen, as he was able to attack the rim there. And Friesen coming off the bench. Friesen, very good for the Hurricanes last season on their championship run, winning the 2015-16 title. Signed in the offseason with the London Lightning, and he's been very outstanding and picked up right off where he left off here in Halifax, and he's been very good for London, and they're probably very happy to have him.
Well, let's rewind the old time clock to last year's game number 5. He had 8 points and 10 rebounds. All 10 of those rebounds were defensively last year for the Halifax Hurricanes. So he has stepped up in game number 5, and it looks like he's on his way to step it up here for the London Lightning, a different jersey than what he was wearing last year.
Yeah, everybody needs to step up for both of these teams, in particular the reserves. The reserves have played a very key role in the victories for both of these teams. Right now, the London Lightning have the advantage with points in the paint, by 22-6. Most of those points, Royce White's points, as well as some easy runouts in transition. Bench scoring, London Lightning have the slight advantage at 11-6. Second chance opportunities as well, it's 12-10. And points off of turnovers, 7-2. Royce White leading the way with 9 points, along with Kyle Johnson, who has 9. For the Halifax Hurricanes, Antoine Mason once again leading the way with 12. 4 for 8 from the field, 2 for 4 from downtown.
Of course, the 9-point game, 36-27. Friesen, we mentioned about his stats in game number 5, and game number 4, he's 1 of 2 from the stripe and 78.9% from the free throw line, the regular season and playoffs there, the Alberta Golden Bear product, and misses on the first. Yeah, there was a lot of social media tried to get Friesen to come back here to Halifax, but it ended up being financial terms were the difference between that happening. So he took his talents to London. It's worked out for him.
Oh, absolutely. He's been he was a fan favorite here in Halifax, and he's well liked throughout the community. Did a lot throughout the community in his spare time. So can be nothing but happy for Joel Friesen in any decision he makes in his basketball career.
Dixon on the drive. Shot clock fading down. No good. Short. And Anderson comes up with it. Anderson swings it back. Nice ball movement there. Williamson. Clankscales. Kind of got out of harm's way there, and bucket was no good. All of a sudden, Julius jumping down. Thought there might have been a double dribble. None coming as Haywood puts on the Jets off the window and in, and that's an amazing shot, Fitz.
That's a very tough shot. I think he was looking at you and me, Dan. I don't think he even seen the rim. A great defensive play, but sometimes the offense beats the defense, and on that shot, Joey Haywood was lucky and was able to beat the defense.
Williamson.
Yeah, nice take. Good, strong take there by Williamson as he was able to take the bigger man inside the paint, Ronaldo Dixon.
Bucket of the bruise for him.
Definitely determination on that dribble drive by Garrett Williamson. He was able to back down Ronaldo and make sure that he was able to follow through that contact and give himself an opportunity to complete the three-point play.
1-1 from the free-throw line earlier in this game is Williamson. And it's been a struggle there. He was 50% from the stripe at game number 4. Haywood going back down the other way quickly. Foul going to be called, and it's going to be on the floor, says John Hunt.
Yeah, the Lightning can't afford to give up baskets, meaning they give up easy points from the free-throw line. Struggled, as you mentioned, from the charity stripe in game number 4. 76%. They were 20 for 26. They pretty much got to make all those free throws if they're going to win on the road. Free throws and rebounding are very important.
Ryan Anderson fingered for the foul, his first second-team foul here in the second quarter. Shot clock at 10. Haywood gets some separation from Friesen. Will send it cross court. Clankscales with the clock at 3. Drives, gets past Anderson, and gets the tough bucket as the clock was winding down.
Beautiful stop and go free by Clankscales as he was able to freeze his defender, and a beautiful blow by and kiss off the window. Need a little bit more of that aggression from Clankscales. When he's going that way, their offense is in the right direction.
Going to be a tough one, but Royce White's going to be called for
like a 3-second call there.
Yep, 3-second violation. Doug Herring Jr. will come in here, and Anderson will take a seat. So you take a look at Mike Poole. He had 4 points in game number 4, hoping for a little better offensive effort here in game number 5 tonight. Clankscales on the take, drives, side to try to go with an alley-oop pass to Cox. That doesn't work. Numbers the other way, and Watson there with the bear hug there on Williamson.
Yeah, sometimes you need to be selfish, and on that particular drive, Clankscales should have been a little bit more selfish as the defense basically bailed, and you can see the foul here given up by Watson in transition to Williamson. But on that last take, that last possession for the Hurricanes, Click did a good job of getting inside the paint, but he definitely should have took the shot instead of passing it up for that alley-oop.
You can see the frustration starting to sink in here on Williamson, who's having, and we mentioned earlier, tough from the free throw line. Missed that one as well. But gets his composure, sinks the second one. As we take a look at Williamson, who scored 1,349 points as a member of the Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania. Clankscales with the ball, 7:13 left to go. Poole, open look over Phillips, and it bounces in and out. A one-and-done trip there for Halifax. And Lightning with a 9-point lead, looking to get that increased as Phillips takes, but no basket. He's called for too many steps by Danny Patterson.
Yeah, good defensive play, forcing that making sure that they shut down that lane there, making it tough, difficult for Phillips to garner any type of space there.
Well, if the Hurricanes have a push, this is the time to do it. White not on the floor right now for the London Lightning. Haywood over Herring Jr. Yes!
And see, there's that creativity off the dribble, attacking the paint by Clinkscales, kicking it out to Haywood as there was a collapse as they tried to double team Klink and stop him from getting to the paint. Klink did an outstanding job of kicking out to Haywood. Haywood knocking down the big 3-ball.
The Scotiabank center crowd starting to wake up. Phillips now well short of that one, but Friesen knocked away there by Poole, and now Watson has the ball and quickly hands it to Clinkscales, and now they'll get things going in transition. Clinkscales for 3, swish!
That's just straight up confidence. Clinkscales, since game number 2 in the Atlantic Division Championship Series against the Island Storm, this guy has been outstanding from downtown. He's been shooting that ball with a lot more confidence from beyond the arc. We can see it in the delivery and the stroke and the way he follows through on that 3-ball.
Cox gives it to Watson, who takes second chance opportunity bucket, and Julius once again calls timeout.
Got to talk things over right now. Hurricanes on this run, able to get the lead, cut the 1. All on the strength of their guard, their leader, their captain, Clinkscales, distributing the basketball in transition, finishing in transition in traffic, kicking it out to open guys and knocking down jump shots, getting good defensive stops, the one and the dones. And you mentioned it, they need to take advantage of these type of situations while Royce White is on the bench. Because you got to know, once Royce White is injected back into this game, it's going to be Royce White all the time for the London Lightning, and the ball and the offense is going to go through Royce White, and he's going to have to make the decisions offensively. But first of all, they got to take care of the basketball, turning it over and taking quick shots on the offensive end. The London Lightning, that is, are only going to play into the hands of the Hurricanes and what they want to do. They want to get into the open floor. They want to take shots going to the rim. They want to make sure they get on the 2-on-1s and the 3-on-2s and the 4-on-3s and get those decisions with their great ball handler and the decision maker and Clinkscales. They're pretty much perfect when it comes to that situation in their transition game. So they can't get into this quick offense. Once they get into the quick offense, Dan, they only play into the hands of the Hurricanes, and that's the reason why we have a 1-point game, 39-40 with 5:46 left in the second.
Lightning had a 9-point lead at one point, and it has disappeared and gone by the wayside. 5:46 left to go here till halftime. And this back and forth game, but it's also been back and forth in this series. Both teams have had their runs, and see if Lightning have a counterpunch here. Here is Friesen now with the ball. Royce White back out on the floor. Feed the beast time here at the Scotiabank Center. Unable to hit over Cox that time, and fight there. Hurricanes have the ball, and Haywood's going end to end as he turns on the Jets. They can't get the bucket, but he will go to the line.
Good decision in transition by Haywood, but the outstanding defense on the other end by Anthony Cox in a dogfight for that 50-50 ball. Haywood in a dead run here drew the contact on Kyle Johnson, and he'll go to the line to shoot too. So the outstanding defensive effort on the other end by Anthony Cox and fighting for that 50-50 ball and coming up with it against Royce White open up that opportunity for Joey Haywood in transition.
Tie game now as he hits the first one. Probably the Scotiabank Center crowd will probably blow a gasket here if he sinks the second one. We'll let the crowd tell the story. There it is, 41-40. 5:20 left to go. Friesen now trying to get some offense going. Has some instructions for his teammates. Still has the rock with 14 on the shot clock. White now distributes it to Williamson. Johnson now for 3. Yes.
Good stroke there. Good offense out of that half-court set. You can see the adjustment made defensively by the Hurricanes. They want to double-team Royce White. Royce did an outstanding job of distributing the basketball and finding the open man. And Johnson made no mistake knocking down that 3.
Offensive foul called against the Halifax Hurricanes.
Team foul number 5.
It's Antoine Mason, his first That's the 15th foul for Halifax. 4:50 left. London up by 2 now as we take a look at Doug Herring Jr. with the ball. Friesen, Williamson, as well as White and Johnson on the floor for the London Lightning. Clink Scales comes up. White sets the screen. Williamson, open look, and bounces in and out, and Cox has the rebound.
So we got a stoppage in play, and it looks like an offensive call on Watson. He's not happy, looking around as John Hunt calls that foul on Watson in the paint. So,
all right, 43-41, 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go here till halftime here from the Scotiabank Center. My name's Dan Hobson alongside Vince Williams and the Silver Vision crew bringing you game number 5 here, the NBL Finals. A rematch of last year's championship. Johnson, 3, fouled, and chance to make the unusual and not seen a lot 4-point play.
I tell you what, he's got it going. Since that first one he saw drop, he's been taking them, and they've been getting him the basketball. And it only makes sense. Kyle Johnson knocking that 3 ball down. He's got that stroke going.
Watson trying to play the story to Paul Hansen, but too little, too late. Johnson, 3 of 3 from the stripe in game number 4, 77.5% from the free throw line.
And almost halfway through this game, he's 3 for 3 from beyond the arc.
And he was quiet in game number 4, only 7 points.
Yeah, perfect from the field.
Fedge trying to get on him, and it's unsuccessful, and it's 47-41. Junior Cadogan will make his way back in. He had a quick 2 fouls there in the first quarter. Now we'll hit the floor here with 4:15 left to go here in the second quarter. 47-41. Clink Scales now on the floor along with Renato Dixon, Haywood, Cox, and Mason for the Halifax Hurricanes. Royce White, Williamson, Johnson, alley-oop! Oh, Cox! Gotta have that one, Vincent. You'd say that too.
Absolutely, gotta have that one. A perfect pass on the lob city from Clink Scales.
Oh, nice hesitation there by Royce White, and it makes it 49-41.
Can't have that defensively as well. The adjustment needs to be made. Ronaldo needs to make a decision to double and make sure that Royce White doesn't get that deep down inside of Anthony Cox's individual defense. So you want to mix it up defensively. You want to give Royce White different looks and try to confuse him, but you can't allow him to have a one-on-one situation, able to back down his defender and have an easy opportunity with the left hand or right hand at the layup.
Royce White called for the foul, his first 4th team foul. Haywood for 3, that's short rimmed. Now 1 and done there for the Halifax Hurricanes. Remains 49-41 with 3.5 left. Friesen, goes right by Dixon as if he's a pylon, and then Williamson there with the putback. 10-point game, 51-41. Mike Scales crosses the timeline with 3:17 left. Trying to get some movement here as Haywood gets away. Watch there by White. Gets the return pass as Clink Scales. Haywood, 2-person game, 3! Yes! 51-44. Williamson now. Whoa! And it's going to be a blocking foul. Clink Scales not happy. Mike Leslie jumping, and Joe Wells also not too pleased. You can hear the Scotiabank Center crowd opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what they're calling here, as it looks like they waved off the bucket, but then it looked like a continuation, so they're going to count the pass. You can see Joey Haywood waiting outside the restricted zone. Looked like he was planning. No, he was moving, so it might have been the right call. He was moving and trying to get in front of Garrett Williamson. Williamson did a good job of eluding and arcing his body and trying to move away from that contact, so they might have gotten it right after taking a good look at that replay, Dan.
I like the fact that the 3 got together shortly afterwards and discussed it. The thing is that Danny Patterson is not used to working with Paul Hansen and John Hunt, like not a regular, so yeah. The 2 the three to get together and talk it over was the right thing to do.
But a very professional crew, and these guys are professional, so they should be able to get it done, especially in the finals. You want to make sure that you have the right officials on the floor, and the officiating's been outstanding.
The composure
throughout
starting
the
to be a factor here for the Hurricanes. Now Cox is not too happy, and that's the 7th team foul with 2:47 left, so 3 throws rest of the way here for the London Lightning till halftime. 2 free throws going up here for Royce White, and this has been the struggle for him from the stripe. 53%. If there's any Achilles heel, and just on cue, misses the first one.
Yeah, continuing the struggle as a team of the London Lightning. They gotta find a way to correct that, but that's pretty much the only thing that's not going right in this first 24 minutes thus far.
54-44, 2:44 left to go till halftime. Halifax Hurricane fans, Hurricane Force, not much to cheer about so far. They seem like they've been trailing the 8 ball since pretty well the opening tip. Mason on the take. Catch and shoot. Cox bounces in and out. And Kyle Johnson having a fantastic afternoon, evening, 6-6 from the field, 16 points. Friesen hits the 3, and it's 13 points. Largest lead here of the evening for the London Lightning with 2:18 left.
Yeah, good timeout call by Coach Leslie, trying to talk things over, break up this momentum, this little run here, but you can see the sense of urgency and the fight by the London Lightning. They just want it a little bit more, Dan, and they're showing it. Guys are knocking down shots, those same shots that they got in games number 4 and 3 that weren't going down, in particular in game number 4 that weren't going down, are going down tonight. You can see that they're locked in and they're ready to shoot, knowing that the opportunities are going to come. They're going to get their opportunities to knock it down, and they haven't made any mistakes knocking those shots down, as they are 50% from the field from downtown, 6 for 12 thus far, and 22 for 41 at 53% from the field. That's pretty good, and lots of points in the paint. They're basically dwarfing the Hurricanes in 30-12 margin for points inside the paint. So you take a quick look at those analytics, there's a reason why they have this 13-point lead.
And of course, game number 6 will be Monday night, Budweiser Gardens. And NBL Canada YouTube will have that one.
You got to believe that place is going to be rocking.
Especially if things continue the way it is now.
They might open up those upper bowl seats and they can fill it. 9,000 seat, I think it's a 9,000 capacity, close to 8,000 to 9,000 Budweiser Gardens. I mean, they had about 4,500 for game number 2, the game I attended, and it was very, very loud. It was electric in the building. So you got to think for game 6, a chance to close out and win the championship. You know the fans are going to show up.
Back to play, less than getting close to 2 to go. Dixon for 3, and that's no good. And there is the beast coming down with it. Royce White showing why he's the MVP of this league. We mentioned, of course, his offense, but defensively had well over 400 rebounds. Friesen trying to get that jumper, and that doesn't go. 1:47 left to go, 57-44. Blake Scales takes, spins over a couple of defenders. And foul called there by the sideline official, Danny Patterson.
Yeah, that's a tough shot there for Klink, and most
of
the shots have been tough, Dan.
Sorry, Vince. I was going to say it's going to be White after his second, so he's okay in terms of fouls still, but not taking a chance. Julius is going to bring in Capers. We'll see if he goes for White. Yeah, he's protecting White, and White will go off.
Yeah, right decision in this situation. You got a 13-point lead. You got your best player still in the game. You know that you don't want to get him in any type of foul difficulty under 2 minutes. And Capers is playing outstanding, so not much of a drop-off bringing in Capers off the bench.
Mason trying to take, but boy, Friesen was in the area as well as Williamson. But it's got to be Friesen. That's got to be Kadukin called for the foul, pardon me. So Kadukin's going to be getting the 16th foul there. Doug Herring Jr. makes his way to the scoring bench and now will come in for Kadukin. That will be his 3rd. And that will send Mason to the stripe. Mason misses on the first one, makes so the score remain 57-44, 95 seconds left to go. And he misses on the second one, so unable to cash it in from the stripe on the gimmies. And it will remain 57-44, minute 27 left. Doug Herring Jr., 5 points. Drives, puts it up, no good. Mason off to the races, quickly up. Haywood, and layup bucket.
Yeah, one-man fast break, Joey Haywood. Great finish at the rim for him. He's been good in these first 24 minutes for the Hurricanes coming off the bench, providing that spark, but now they need to dig in defensively and get a stop here.
57-46. Oh, the fake there by Friesen, but throws a dart. And they're trying to get Mason, and they finally get the ball up to him. Now takes Capers, but Capers is going to be called for the foul. And now Mason will have a chance once again. He was 0 for on the last trip to the stripe. Let's see what's coming up here for the big man. 8 of 11 from the free throw line in game number 4.
Mason of the line, shooting 2.
Anderson was coming up. They thought he was substituting, but no, he's a no sub. He's just trying to talk to the official here. And Mason will now cash in on that one. It's a 10-point game, and you know, you being a basketball man like you are, you've mentioned many times, you and I have worked together, getting this down to like single digits to have something positive there.
Absolutely.
For the halftime.
You said it, you're right on cue. When you're down, you definitely want to make sure going into the halftime break, if you're down, you need to make sure it's a single-digit lead and not a 10-point or a double-digit deficit.
Johnson. Oh, he's on fire. That will give him 19.
Same spot and perfect from the field as Kyle Johnson.
He's just playing perfect. Perfect from the field, perfect from downtown, and perfect from the stripe. 19 for him. 60-48, 24 seconds left to go. Clegg scales down over Johnson. And a short rim. Cox came out with the ball and a new 24 and gets it on a tough take.
Yeah, good take. Great stay with it there as Anthony Cox. He's been good underneath the basket, grabbing rebounds and keeping things alive offensively.
Oh, Johnson trying to do the heat check there. Whoa, and Friesen got the hand right up in the face of Mason.
Got away with one right there, as you can see.
Trying to do some dentistry work. I don't know if he's a certified dentist or not, as we take a look at Mason laying down on the floor.
Might have gotten away with the foul there as Joel Friesen, as you can see here, right hand right into the kisser. Missed call there at the end of the half, so 10-point lead. You got to be happy, though, the way things have been going if you're the Hurricanes. I mean, the Lightning has been shooting the lights out, excuse the pun, in the first 24 minutes. 60 points is a lot of points to surrender in 24 minutes. And so 50 points as well is a lot of points as well. So not a lot of defense and not a lot of stops coming from both teams.
Not really much surprise because, of course, London Lightning, they have averaged over 115 points per game in the regular season and playoffs. So to see them have 60 on the board, not much of a surprise here where they get all the guns a-blazing. And they have been right around 50% from the field goals, and as well as doing well from the threes, 7 of 14, 50%. Boy, when you put numbers like that, that explains why they have a 10-point lead. So Vince and I are going to step out for a break, and we'll be back here in about less than 13 minutes with quarter number 3. You're watching NBL Canada on YouTube. Down high men here so far in the game. Haywood the top for the Hurricanes of 14 and Kyle Johnson 19. The top scorers so far as we're back underway. The very important 12, as we mentioned, underway. Clinkscales open look for three. No. And there's Royce White there, showing why he was one of the top rebounders in the NBL and got him an NBL MVPs. He came down with that one with one hand. Anderson now, entry pass. There's Royce White, double team momentarily. Johnson now, and he continues to be hot. Only one miss tonight, and that will give him 22, and it's a 13-point game.
Yeah, picking up where he left off. The hot shooting continuing. Got to close out on Kyle Johnson and force him to get off of that three-point line. But you got to give credit to the London Lightning as they're distributing the basketball, and they're making sure that they're giving the ball to the hot man right now.
Boy, they are defending well as the ball goes out of bounds, and the clock went going for a couple seconds. I got to wonder if they'll make that adjustment there.
It's a fortress inside that paint. They're not allowing that dribble drive and those easy opportunities at the rim. They're forcing the Hurricanes to knock shots down in the mid-range or from beyond the arc.
Paul Edson comes over and says we're going to put the shot clock to 3, which means the game clock should go to 11:03 as well. And we're just waiting for that to be done right now.
Just want to get a quick shout out there to a big group of fans in London at the 93 and Kings, as Audley Stevenson's by my side telling me where it is. I can actually read it. 93 and King in London. They're cheering on the London Lightning, making sure that trying to bring home the boys with this Game 5 win to close out the championship in game number 6.
Yeah, they have a chance here to win their third NBL championship. Shot clock winding down for Watson, and really not enough time there on the 24 to get a shot off. In the meantime, the horn goes off, so they're having a little bit of some difficulties here with the scoring table, so they'll have reset things there with Anderson inbound, and they're going to give him a fresh 24. I imagine that's probably going to change and maybe down to maybe about 19. We'll have to wait and see. As we have a clock delay as we take a look at Johnson, who is the hot man with 22 points. And that's been the type of series for him. He's been really awesome, and then all of a sudden has a letdown. Awesome, another letdown. That's been the way that it's gone.
Definitely hot and cold, but I mean, for the biggest game of this season, he's right on cue, and this is the right situation for him.
Williamson, too strong. Second chance opportunity, allowed to put his own rebound back, and it's a 15-point game and very quiet here at the Scotiabank Center. The Central Division champions, who ran roughshod over the Central Division, having their way with the Hurricanes here in game number 5.
Yeah, make no mistake about it, Dan. These guys are very good on the road, just as equally as they are at home. So they know how to be road warriors and get the W's that they need, and this is the biggest one thus far this season.
Look at Royce White. He got a piece of that Dixon shot. There will now be London Lightning basketball, but you just see the presence that he brings. You know, offensively, he's double teaming, so that's allowing some of the other bigs to get things going. And defensively, Dixon unable to get that 3 to go.
Yeah, you mentioned, I mean, he's been good defensively, and that's his 10th attempt.
There,
and he gets that to go.
And he gets the and one as it hesitates and goes down as he goes into the bench to celebrate there.
Roy 6 for 10 from the field. That's his 14th point. 1 for 2 from the charity stripe with an opportunity to finish the three-point play, but defensively, that's not the adjustment that they need. Ronaldo's an outstanding defender, but he has had his difficulties trying to play one-on-one with Royce White. Pretty much every big from the Hurricanes have had their difficulties trying to match up individually, staying in front of Royce White. You got to double team Royce, and you got to force Royce into a passer. You can't allow him to be a scorer.
It is a very difficult task, especially with the absence of C.J. Washington. Back injury, didn't even take warm-ups, not even dressed, and Billy White was lost there in the first half as well, and has yet to return, and he's actually down right next to C.J. Washington on that bench. It almost looks like that he won't be back, so that means that, you know, this is Dixon, Cox. They're going to have to step up and and I'm kind of surprised that maybe with a hunch that Leslie doesn't go to DeBerry. At least get some size in there and get some vowels there.
Get some minutes, and maybe give Royce White a different look. He may not be able to stay with him with foot speed, but if he can match him with the physicality and try to keep him away outside the paint, then it could be a better matchup for the Hurricanes and force Royce to knock down jump shots instead of taking 1 or 2 footers. But I'm surprised that we haven't seen Kenny Otino, who was very good coming off the bench and provided a spark in the second half for the Hurricanes and allowed them to go on those mini runs heading into the fourth quarter. And it's definitely very good on Tuesday night, and we haven't seen him thus far, and I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe Mike Leslie's deciding to go with a short bench, knowing that they really need this win, and where the game is, it's a deficit, not a lead. They can't afford to take a chance to go deeper inside his reserves.
Speaking about lead, this is the largest lead for London here this evening. Coming up to the 2-minute mark, 68-50. Mason sends it up top there to Watson, gets the return pass for 3, yes!
That's a good offense coming out of the timeout. Good distribution of the basketball. You can see that the London Lightning are making sure that there's going to be a double team every time that ball's entered inside the post. And a nice shot there, knocking it down from beyond the arc, was Mason over top of the defense.
68-53 as there's a foul call as the jersey was grabbed there, according to John Hunt.
Yeah.
That's the second team foul for the Halifax Hurricanes. And it's Clinkscale's just third.
So Royce White now being guarded by Watson. Watson more physical and has a little bit more foot speed than Ronaldo.
He's looking for a call there, and none is forthcoming, but they will keep possession of the ball. But White thought there was contact foul by Watson, but no call coming there from Patterson and Hunt, who are both there in the neighborhood.
Careless with the basketball. That's the 10th turnover on the evening for the Hurricanes, compared to 6 for the Lightning. They've been taking care of the basketball and getting quality shots and second chance opportunities.
The catch and shoot off-bound shot for Johnson doesn't go. Second miss of the night. Mason on the take, loses the rock, and when it rains, it pours. No momentum on your side.
That's what you get, Dan. When they're able to beat their individual defense, that is the Hurricanes, there's always another man waiting inside the paint, making it tough or altering shots or cutting them off at the rim. So that's the style of defense that they're taking. They're taking away the dribble drive penetration.
Double team, and that left Williamson, and he puts the two-handed flush down.
Royce White, outstanding job of recognizing the double team coming late and cutting without the basketball is Williamson, and Williamson made no mistake with the two-handed hammer.
70-53, 8:48 left to go here in the third quarter.
Canes got to find the rhythm here. They're in trouble of getting blown out here in game number 5.
Clinkscale's going to try to put it in his hands on the drive, unsuccessful, and boy, it just seems like he's been all over the floor. Royce White fouled by Mason, and it's going to be on the floor before the shot, and Kyle Julius doesn't think so. John Hunt says, I don't care. That's what it's going to be.
Well, I tell you what, if you're just joining us and this is your first time seeing the London Lightning play, in particular Royce White, and wondering how good is this guy and why is he MVP, that pass right there shows you everything you need to know from a big man, a center. A one-handed bounce pass about 30 feet to Kyle Johnson on the money, on the dead run.
He had NBA rights that belonged to the Houston Rockets, and you can see why. Oh, the technical against Johnson. They were going back the other way. The missed shot, and the Hurricanes were going, and Johnson.
Yeah, you can't have that in this situation. You can't allow to get your emotions.
Kyle Julius wondered what he said.
Yeah, you can't allow it right now. Kyle Johnson, not a good technical foul right now. If you're the London Lightning, you want to make sure that you keep all the momentum and not allow these fans to get back into it as Haywood knocks down the technical. But you can't give the Hurricanes any life. You got to make sure that you're doing what you're doing and sustaining that pressure on them. And so giving them that technical might give them a little bit of life, but the Hurricanes got to wake up fast in a hurry because things are starting to get undone here, Dan, for them.
Yeah, for Johnson, it's his third personal. Here is Haywood. We mentioned he was the leading scorer there for the Hurricanes. And a foul there. If this is Royce White, it will be his third. And it is. 8:08 left to go, 70-54.
His third. Team foul, number 2.
But of course, the thing is that they are pretty well in control. Later, if it was maybe a 2-point game, that might be costly. But right now, it's not going to be any harm to them. No big deal right now. So we come up to 4 gone here in the third quarter. Clinkscale's on the floor. Has the ball, entry pass, catch and shoot for Cox. Well short. Cox trying to fight to come out with the ball. Can't. There is Johnson now. He's going to go take, and he's fouled. And just the Halifax Hurricanes just unable to answer the bell here in this third quarter. They were down by 10 to start, and it's a 16-point deficit. And the third one to Antoine Mason as he's called for the foul, 4th team foul here for them. 7:54 left as we take a look. Kyle Julius and John Hutt have a conversation. I imagine that's just not having to do with food plans after the game. Just a slight guess on that as White gets the inbound, sets up the screen. Johnson, awkward shot, and it doesn't go. They're actually getting a hand in the face of Johnson. He has a couple of misses now. Clinkscales now. Oh, fakes it, takes, short rim. And the weak side rebound, Anderson, lead pass up ahead, picked off by Mason.
Not a good pass at all.
And a one-handed jam by Antoine Mason.
Yeah, with authority. And that's that spark, that technical foul might have woken the Hurricanes here.
But it's quiet down there by Kyle Johnson.
Have Kyle Johnson spot up and knock down 3 balls uncontested. As he's got this stroke going, he has found his range, and he has to be forced off the 3-point line.
Back-to-back threes as Mason comes back. Don't count the Johnson 3. 73-59, 6:55 left. Here's Anderson. White, short. Dixon comes up with the ball. Haywood now. Clinkscale's calling for it on the wide side. He gets the pass. Takes it. Back out. Mason now. Flies by Anderson, spins away from Cadogan. Wild shot, comes up with nothing, and it will be London's basketball. Clinkscale's trying to plead for the call to be changed, and it comes to no avail.
So missed opportunity there, and it looked like it was last touch by Ronaldo. He's not happy, but he thought it was last touch by Royce, but looked like they got the right call there.
Cox, White on the one-on-one. Bouncing up there.
And that's number 4 on Royce as he went over the back. Good job defensively, individual by Anthony Cox. Gambled a little in the early part of that defensive stop on Royce White. Royce White missed the bucket.
Well, it's game on here for Halifax. If he's on the bench, you got to take advantage of it. 6:20 left.
Well, I mean, they need to find a way to get some open shots here. They need to find a way to just get the basketball moving and move the defense, because right now the dribble drive is just not there.
Cox trying to get a second chance opportunity, and he's kind of snake bitten here tonight. Phillips, the veteran, fouled.
Count it.
Count the bucket, continuation, and 1.
No call down the other end, and you come back the other way in transition, and it's been going that way all evening long for the Hurricanes. Missed opportunities on one end and giving up opportunities on the other. And
the technical foul had been a call. I think it's going against Cox too. So
that was a strong move by Phillips as he was able to fight through the contact.
Team foul number 5.
Poole called. That's his first 7th team foul.
Strangely enough, technical foul on Anthony Cox.
Anthony Cox called for the technical. And you and I mentioned that we were going to think probably it would be a good idea to see Coriate DeBerry. There he is. He's pretty well got to come on here, because now for Cox, I didn't see what he's got for fouls. I'll check the stats here. Yeah, he's got 2 fouls. White's injured. Washington not dressed. They kind of really in this situation where they need the big man, DeBerry, coming in, and here he is going to get some minutes here.
Oh, he's got to give him some quality minutes. He's got to be real good defensively. Let's not worry about so much on the offensive end. They need stops. It all has to start on the defensive end here. He can't surrender any easy buckets.
The big man in a big moment here. Phillips off balance shot, and it was Lockwood putting that shot up, but Cadogan comes up with it. And a new 24. And now he'll settle things down. Anderson calls for it, gets it. Williamson fakes, drives, tacks. Oriate to Barry. Got a paw on it, but not much. And now the Hurricanes 3-on-1 the other way. Mason, wild shot. Boy, the place would have blown up if he got that one, Vince, but he'll go to the line.
That was a tough attempt
Anderson
by
called.
Mason from one side of the rim to the reversal. Try to get the right English. Good no-look pass there by Klink on the 3-on-2. Mason draws the contact and almost got that spinner to go off the glass and in.
Friesen will come in for Anderson, and Anderson, after having that explosive game on Tuesday night, quiet for game 4, a little bit quiet here this afternoon, just 3 points. We'll have a sit down. Williamson as well. So Johnson will stay out on the floor. Phillips as well as Capers, Herring Jr. and Friesen here for the London Lightning. As Mason will go to the stripe there and will sink the first free throw. He is now 5 of 7. But the thing is, last game, there were 5 players in double digits in points for the Hurricanes. Right now, only 2 players, Mason and Haywood.
Struggling to find their offensive range and trying to find their rhythm, as the London Lightning have done an outstanding job.
Capers, left hand, throw down.
Wow, this guy can fly, 6'4", and has got lots of length.
Poole for downtown, hits it, 78-63, but they kind of need some stops now, does the team in white. Well, in the meantime, the London Lightning continue to shoot the lights out here at the Scotiabank Center as we have 5 to go here in the third. Doug Herring Jr. gets an elbow in on Haywood. He's short on that one. It's along the end line. Herring Jr. bangs it off the glass, but doesn't reset the shot clock, as the shot clock was at 2, and he puts up the corner 3. That's no good. Hurricanes have it. They get the stop they need. Haywood now on the take, kept on going, and going to be called for the charge.
Wow. Interesting call on the baseline. Clint Scales in transition.
Well, you can hear what they think about it here.
Right
Did you
call.
see it?
Right call. Joel Friesen
Absolutely.
was set, and the contact was initiated by Haywood, as Friesen did an outstanding job and patience of stepping inside that restricted line and took the blow of Haywood.
Johnson now with the ball. Capers now, driving was Friesen. Oh, swatted out of harm's way there by DeBerry. But he's called for the foul, but take that one as opposed to the easy bucket.
Yeah,
and now Friesen will have to earn it from the stripe.
That's a defensive, that's a playoff foul right there.
Boom.
Contact, all body. DeBerry not allowing Friesen to finish that play. That was the good thing. Now he's got to hope that Friesen doesn't knock down both, but Joe Friesen's been lights out from the free-throw line. Just under 80% on the season. And he's been very good without the playoffs.
And it was a good foul, 1 for 2 that time there. 79-63, 4:24 left.
And I like that attempt there by Antoine Mason, not allowing the Lightning defense to set up. Because the problems have been coming in their half-court sets. When the Lightning are getting the opportunity to set up and pack the paint, they've been getting the stops that they need and making it very difficult for the Hurricanes to knock down shots or find any type of space driving to the basket. So I like that effort there off that miss free throw by Mason.
Doug Herring Jr. called for the foul. Hurricanes unable to hit the corner 3. 4:15 left, but they get a new 24. 17 to shoot right now with 4:10 left. Here's Mason now guarded there by Phillips. Now puts on the Jets. Now puts the brakes on. Kenny Otieno. Shot clock at 8. Cross court. Poole off balance. 10. And right there was Marcus Capers. Marcus Capers probably can almost maybe put a star here beside maybe a possible MVP here for the NBL finals, because he's just been fantastic at both ends. Phillips fakes. Now over to Barry and gets the bucket.
Yeah, that's a tough shot there by Phillips. He knew he had a two-way go, either the blow by or the step back jumper. The Barry closing out late.
Julius thought it should have been a 3. In the meantime, Mason comes and now he'll have the and 1. Julius still pleading his case, thinking that Phillips should be getting the 3. And now they're going to get together as John Hunt and Paul Hansen will get together, so it may be a 3, or now he's going to go down and talk to him. It will be just a 2.
Yeah, the officials don't have the luxury of the instant replay. Not part of the rules for the National Basketball League of Canada. Otherwise, they would able to take a look at the monitor and see if it was actually a 3 and not a 2.
81-66, 3:25 left to go here in the third quarter. Friesen drives, takes, foul, tough one too. And Otieno going to be called. It'll be his first. Hurricanes over the limit as Anderson returns for Johnson. Friesen to the stripe. 2 for 4 here tonight from the free throw line is Friesen. He's 1 of 2 the last trip. See what's up on the docket with this one. As he'll get that one to go, 82-66. Focus. Trying to win back-to-back championships. And not many players in the NBL have done that. Kevin Loisel, of course, did it as a member of the Hurricanes last year after winning it with the Windsor Express the year before. That's what's up for grabs for Friesen. Poole for 3, bounces in and out, tapped out by DeBerry right in the corner. And there is, at one time, he was called Captain Canada here in this building. That term no longer as he took his talents to London. Joel Friesen. Anderson now. Alley-oop, trying to set up Capers and actually hits the window. And Coach Julius puts his hands on his head in disgust. Not happy with that offensive set. Otieno throws up a brick. That's no good. Out of bounds it is, but. And London basketball. Williamson returning. A little bit delay as there's some moisture on the floor being mopped up as we take a look at Poole. Poole this evening, 6 points, 2 of 6 from the field, 2 of 6 from downtown. In the meantime, Kyle Julius calling a play. And you can probably hear our microphones pick up. One of the fans here at the Scotiabank Center not too happy with the officiating here so far, but it has been pretty well officiated game. Herring Jr. from downtown, yes sir.
Continuing the rain from 3s. London Lightning knocking down balls, and when Herring Jr.'s knocking down 3s, things are going in the right direction. His game a little bit more the dribble drive penetration, but an outstanding jump shot on that possession down.
DeBerry, Williamson uses his physicality.
Too many steps.
Took too many steps, as you mentioned, called for the travel.
Yeah, good defensive stop there by Williamson. The quickness of cutting off DeBerry forced him to turn it over and take too many steps on that possession.
Well, the people back home watching in London must be loving this. Mason on the take, too strong, but he'll have 3 throws coming up.
Joel Friesen not happy with that. Didn't look like he fouled him. You take a look here in the replay. Mason in transition, and it looked like he just pulled the chair out on him defensively. Not much contact there, but nevertheless, free throws coming up for Mason.
Still having words with Danny Patterson.
Yeah, and he's giving him the illustration as he pulled the chair, and exactly what he did. Not much contact there. That definitely not a playoff foul call by the officials.
7-10 now as Mason, he drains the first.
So if I'm the fans online as well as in London, I'd be upset right now and write my views about how satisfied I am online and be upset, and maybe things would change.
85-68. Second foul there for Friesen. Both teams over the limit in the late stages there. There is Friesen there. Down low to Herring Jr. Capers sets the screen for Herring Jr. Now swing it in the corner to Williamson with the shot clock at 3. Oh, DeBerry gets it out of town. Now Mason, hesitation, bucket.
Wow, a lot of contact on the defensive end there by DeBerry. Got away with one, I think. Coming back the other way, as you can see here, good ball movement. Williamson dribble driving, contact, little contact there, not called. Klink coming back the other way in transition.
Mason going to sit down for the remaining 1:11 here as we see him go off there. Definitely going to try to save him here for the fourth quarter. They need a run here, down by 15.
If they can get it within 10, the Hurricanes, that is, they're in pretty good shape in the fourth quarter, the way things are going in this third. But if you're the London Lightning, you got to continue to be very aggressive and continue to distribute the rock and get some good shots here.
Anderson the one-on-one. Bowen, he thought there was contact.
Yeah,
Leslie going with hunches here as Aaron Bowen gets some minutes.
Might have been a little bit of contact on that follow-through on Anderson.
Otieno takes and finds a lane and the bucket. You were talking about earlier, we were going to see him. Well, here he is.
Providing the spark.
13-point deficit.
Now the Lightning need to sustain this little bit of run and get back to the good things they're doing offensively.
Herring Jr. elbow jumper doesn't go, one and done.
Not sure if that's a shot that they wanted on that trip down, as you got Joe Friesen and Williamson and Anderson on the floor. You got to think that the offense needs to go through those guys. No disrespect to Herring Jr. He can score, but he can score going to the basket. Those other guys are prolific scorers.
Shot clock at 4, 3 seconds difference. Otieno's going to have to hurry. Just gets it off and gets the bucket. Whoa! I would almost like to see almost an instant replay on the Otieno one. I thought it might have, but might have been a 24, but I guess we can't really fight it. But
right on cue, Kenny Otieno providing that spark. We talked about it, cutting this lead to 11. I mean, they got to be happy. I mean, you can't, not many smiles here in the building if you're a Hurricane fan. All smiles if you're a Lightning fan, knowing that your team pretty much has been dominating throughout the first three quarters and trying to carry over that dominance in the fourth. So the party's going on there in Lightning at 93 and King, as well as online, as they're happy with the outcome thus far, but they can't be satisfied. If you're a Lightning fan, you cannot be satisfied with this effort. Basketball's 48 minutes, and we saw in game number 3, the Lightning down by 9-point deficit, knowing that their backs were against the wall, came out, went on a 24-6 run, and basically stole that game or took control of that game in the halfway part of the fourth quarter and won it. But they can't give it up now. There's an opportunity to go back home in game number 6, close it out, win the championship. Now they need a strong 12 minutes, probably their best 12 minutes of the season. But the first 5 minutes of this quarter is very, very important to both teams in the momentum swing.
Boy, it's one of those series here that it's going to be a gut check time for the home team. There was the services of Billy White for this game. It looked like he had sprained his ankle. C.J. Washington out for the remainder of the series. In the meantime, Royce White is back in, and he's been a force here this evening. 15.6 of 13, as well as 7 rebounds. So it looks like a big hill to climb.
Not to be, sounding like a homer, because we're not.
No, we're not.
They don't even have the services of Taquan Zimmerman to start this series. So
basketball.
I mean, you take that, you factor into that they don't have him available. Then if London Lightning doesn't have one of their players available, and Anthony Criswell not able to go here, suspended for 10 games for actions after game number 4. He's not available, so that's a valuable cog in the wheel for the London Lightning. So both teams battling through some adversity with guys not available to play. But other guys have stepped up there. Marcus Capers has stepped up and has played like you mentioned, a finals all-star at the very least in these last few games here at Scotiabank. He's done an outstanding job defensively and offensively for Coach Kyle Julius and the Lightning.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the London Lightning and, the effort that they have put in tonight. Hats off to them, because you think of it, they've only been doing this with 9 people. Maurice Baldwin, we have not seen him play. Of course, Criswell, as you mentioned, and Mervyn Singleton hasn't even played in this series. That's 9 that they went with here this evening. And boy, oh boy, all 9 have come to play.
And that's a good response coming out of this break. as they getting the ball right back inside to the beast there, Royce White. So good decision. You can see Royce on the baseline. DeBerry coming late. And the foul there, and Royce White almost able to fight through that contact and get the and one. White's been good with the rock this evening. Done an outstanding job when that double team comes late or early of distributing the basketball, moving it quickly, and getting the ball to the open shooter. 6 for 13 from the field, 15 points. Not a bad day. 1 for 1 from downtown. What can you ask for? What more can you ask for from your MVP?
A MVP, and now getting closer to possibly being an NBL champion, as they will be heading back for 6 and 7 in London starting on Monday, and a chance there to clinch at the Budweiser Gardens.
If this score stays the same.
Pretty well, yeah, but this is the thing, is that the Hurricanes go on a run, but the Lightning have just, put out the storm in the meantime, and it seems like a tough hill to climb. 87 to 74 as Haywood goes to the stripe. The top man was the top man for the Hurricanes earlier in the game. Now it's Mason with 30. He sinks that one. Haywood now at 16 with that one. Haywood, of course, from the free throw line, 84.8%. And goes 5 of 5 from the stripe, 87 to 76. Coming up to 30 seconds gone here in the fourth quarter. Doug Herring Jr. probably having one of his better points productive games here in this series. White spins away from DeBerry. He has a quickness there that and he exposed DeBerry for that.
Getting it going, and that's the matchup that they want to exploit. DeBerry, the bigger man, but the slower man. Royce White pretty much can take anybody off the dribble, and especially inside the paint, whether you're a guard or a forward.
And a blocking foul against Williamson, and he's shaking his head as Bowen drove his shoulder right into him. We'll take a look at it. Neil Gordon providing us with the replays here this evening. Poole to inbound the ball. And for Williamson, his third. And the guys that got into the kitchen of Tony Criswell trying to get into the kitchen of Kyle Julius.
Not having it. Kyle Julius, a cool customer under pressure.
You know, what's so great about both of these coaches, both are Canadian, so.
Yeah, I think he's heard pretty much everything and anything.
Been there, done that, seen the movie.
On his many trips in all these buildings around the league.
Bowen, clock at 7, nice move, but can't get the finish. And Bowen chasing down, showing the hustles, he picks it up. DeBerry bounce pass, Otieno unable to handle it. Here is the London Lightning going back. It is Friesen with the bucket.
Yeah, you can see that defense, that swarming defense inside the paint, active hands knocking the ball away as Otieno looked like he had an easy finish at the rim, but the quick hands, the active hands were able to deny him a chance at the rim.
91 to 76, Haywood for 3. Weak side rebound gathered up there by Williamson. And Royce White with a rare error. We have not seen him have too many mistakes here tonight as he was unable to handle the pass. Yeah, and it's a turnover.
Uncharacteristic turnover there by Royce White. Looked like the Lightning had numbers in transition if White was able to corral that.
Still 91 to 76, 10:20 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Pretty well, we mentioned off the top, Vincent, this is a must-win for the Hurricanes because to win 2 in London is a tough task. Oh, the big two-handed there by Aaron Bowen, the Georgetown Hoya with the throwdown.
Definitely a must-win for both teams, Dan. In particular, I mean, it's important, just as important as Halifax to win. It's very important for London to win as well. Trying to set themselves up for an easier ride.
Oh, yeah.
Not trying to win it in Game 7.
Yeah.
It's much rather easier. When it's Game 7,
anything can
goes.
Go. Yeah.
And anything can happen in a Game 7, whether you're the home team or the visiting team.
Well, you have to look back to last year for the London Lightning to lose 2 straight at home. That's how dominant a season it's been. They came into this series the odds-on favored, and this has been their most dominant game of the series so far. And as I mentioned, just doing it with 9 players because Singleton hasn't played, Criswell out of the lineup, and Maurice Bolden, the Austin Spurs NBA D-leaguer, the former NBA D-leaguer, hasn't even seen any minutes here tonight.
But it's been a great performance with distributing the basketball. 4 guys in double digits for the Lightning. Johnson with 25, Herring Jr. with 10, Williamson with 14, and White with 19.
I mean, that's just too many monsters here to deal with if you're the team in white. You get that many players in double figures of points. Bowen, reverse bucket!
Yeah. That's what they need.
Down to 11.
Good defensive play on the other end. A rare block shot in tight inside the basket on Royce White and come back the other way, attack the rim, and finishing at the rim.
The catch and shoot unable to be put up there by Ryan Anderson. He's calling for the ball once again. Royce White up top now. Yeah. Calmly backing in on Cox.
Going to work.
Shot clock at 3, 2. And we have a whistle there, and
looks like a reaching foul. It's going to be a foul.
Bailout there.
Yeah, looks like it's on
Antoine Mason.
Call for the reach shot. He had no choice. He had to come late with that double team as Royce White trying to go to work on Anthony Cox. Cox, you know, he's had a tough night trying to deal with Royce White one-on-one individually, but sometimes, you know, he's gotten the job done, but at this time, you got to think that they got to double team Royce White and get the ball out of his hands.
Johnson throws up an air ball and a foul to boot.
Oh, technical. Had enough. Technical on Kyle Julius, Danny.
Kyle Julius. And he's now saying, what did I say, Danny Patterson? And he'll make his way over.
Yeah, he was saying a lot of things in the ear of Danny Patterson, and Patterson had enough.
Well, this is big now.
Got to make these free throws.
And Ryan Anderson talking it over with the troops as Haywood hits it. Ryan Anderson attended Rainier Beach High School in Seattle, Washington when he was a freshman. His team was ranked #1 in the state. All of a sudden, the Scotiabank Center crowd waking up here. Their team down by 10 with 8:50 left to go. Dixon out on the floor there. Feet got tangled there was Antoine Mason. Shot doesn't go. We'll stay with the Hurricanes, 10 to shoot, 8:41 left to go here in the fourth as we take a look at Junior Cadogan. As I mentioned, I'm not sure people who have just tuned in to this broadcast were with us on Thursday night. His mother was originally from Trinidad and played netball, so definitely a hoop family.
There you go. Different type of hoop.
Yeah.
More difficult type of hoop, I would say, netball.
Yeah. Haywood's got to put it up, shot clock at 1. And that's well short. And guess who came out with it?
Gotta
Royce
stop the
White.
ball. Gotta stop the ball.
Goes end to end and gets the bucket.
Can't allow Royce White to go end to end. You gotta stop the ball and make Royce White go side to side, not north and south. East and west, he's gotta go, not north and south. As you can see, that was an easy bucket, an easy flip off the rim for Royce White in transition. One-man transition there.
Johnson with 25 inside to White now. Shot clock at 10. 4 gone. Driving Anderson and he gets the bucket. And a timeout called here by Mike Leslie. Hurricanes got within 10 and that got away pretty quickly. Down by 14 here in the fourth quarter. So while we have this break, this of course being our last broadcast of the 2016-2017 season, there's so many people that we would like to thank here that have made this broadcast possible, not just here this evening, but throughout the year. Of course, that's the Silver Vision crew. They're just upstairs here of the Scotiabank Center. Haven't had a chance to meet all of them, but they are, of course, provide the pictures, the sights and sounds that you see right now. Working the game here this evening, we've got Kevin Thibodeau working the floor camera. Kevin and I go way back. Neil Gordon, as I mentioned, doing the replays here. Jake running camera and Scott running camera. Of course, when I haven't been able to be here, Matt Elliott has stepped up to the plate and has pitched in for me. And when he wasn't available, Vince wasn't available, and I wasn't available, Alan Abra, who does the stats here, basically the numbers that you see at home, if you watch the DAC stats, Alan is responsible for that, him and his crew. So when he has been able to do it, they've had to get people to come in and help with that. So thank them. Also want to thank Paul and Sean. They are also in that warm room that's down here at the Scotiabank Center. It's probably about 45 degrees here today. They make sure that everything gets online. If there's any technical difficulties, they help with that. And of course, also want to thank you for a great year number 2, Vince.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. It's definitely been a pleasure doing it once again here as the dynamic duel, the team calling the Halifax Hurricanes live stream broadcast, making sure that everything National Basketball League of Canada is well represented, and both teams are well represented in our commentary.
Yeah, so, and of course we've got 7:52 left to go here in this one. 95-81. Hurricanes been on behind the 8 ball. Bowen attacks the rim, and it will go off of him and out of bounds.
Yeah, good defensive play there, not allowing an attack in the half court. See, when that defense is allowed to set up, the Lightning defense allowed to set up, and they can pack the paint and get multiple guys protecting that rim, has been very difficult for the Hurricanes to find any space off the bounce.
95-81, another 3. Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, well, the shooting woes did not continue over the game number 5 for Mr. Anderson. That's for sure. He's been very good this evening.
Well, Ryan Anderson in game number 5 last year had 14 points. So that's what he does. He may have one bad game, bounces back, and it's just pretty well a verbatim of what he did last year. Struggled in 4, back to play here, game number 5.
Well, the record shows that they don't have many back-to-back struggling games, and you knew that he was going to be good this evening. The Hurricanes definitely knew that coming into this, that their best players were going to be good this evening, and they've been good this evening for the Lightning.
Anthony Cox whistled for the foul there on White. White might have got a little bit of a push off, but of course, referee's right there. Better vantage point than we have. As Royce White will go to the free throw line for 5 tonight and make it 5 of 6. As the points keep continuing there for the big man, he's up to 22. And you see, contain him, you probably stand a chance. Talking to the coaching staff of Steve Brown and Joe Wells, they said they had to concentrate on playing their game. Hurricanes have not played their game here this afternoon, this evening, wherever you're watching, and it's 100-83, 6:36 left to go. Mason with the deep 2.
Not many games won by the Hurricanes when they surrender, when the other team is scoring 100 points or plus. Haven't seen many wins here at Scotiabank Center.
Yeah, the thing is, they just did not have the 3-ball power to be when they can use it at their own discrepancy. It just doesn't come as we have a tied ball there. Good sportsmanship shown there by Anthony Cox as he picks up Capers off the floor here of the Scotiabank Center.
Yeah, that
popular Cox.
That 19-7 record, home record, throughout the regular season and through the playoffs for the Hurricanes, when they surrendered 100 points or just under 100 points and don't reach 100 themselves, they've not been successful, and they've come on the other side of the ledger with those 7 losses.
You talked earlier about the play of Cliff Clinkscales. Probably should have shot that 3 there. He had it, but then he decided to pass there.
But that's the unselfish nature of Clink, right? Clink likes to distribute the basketball and likes to get guys opportunities, give up a good shot to get a better one, right? So that's just in his nature.
He's going to have to put it up now, and hits 10. Oh, and a nice play by Cox. Yes. Bowen attacks and foul there by Anderson.
Yeah, great heads-up play there.
All made by the nice Cox as he walked the line to keep it in.
Well, he's been battling throughout this game. Since Billy White went down with an injury, it's been on the shoulders of Anthony Cox, and he's been dealing with Royce White on the other end defensively, and then trying to be active on the boards on the offensive end. So he's put in some major work this evening.
Bowen, who's kind of struggled from the free throw line, 52.9% this season, sinks the first there. Foul was on Anderson. My apologies. It's his third team foul, and he doinks the second one, and then keeps it 100-86 with 5:40 left to go. Dugan crossing the timeline. Royce White. Hurricanes will see a lot of him here in this fourth quarter. Spins, puts it up, fouled, and a chance to knock him down. And once again, the Scotiabank Center crowd, or a few close to our broadcast location, not too happy.
Yeah, a reach and call off the ball there came late by Antoine Mason. And that's his fifth, so.
The fifth, as you mentioned. All of a sudden, the top scorer in foul difficulty for the Hurricanes. Things going from bad to worse, but Leslie going to keep with the hot man. Pretty well don't have a choice.
No choice whatsoever. You can't afford the sub on Antoine Mason. Pretty much all of your scoring this evening. It's been very good once again, as you mentioned, 10 for 22 from the field, 4 for 7 from downtown.
Can't hit that one. Long rebound gathered up by the Hurricanes in a new 24. Cox gets by Cabers. And he gets it to go, but of course the foul was before the shot, as Capers will be called for his fourth. Williamson now getting ready to come back in here for the London Lightning for Capers.
Williamson, a bounce back game as well. He's been consistent. Had 12 points in game number 4, 14 now in game number 5, 6 for 13 thus far. Struggling a little bit from the free throw line, but he's been good defensively.
Oh. And the foul against Royce White, and he looks up and like, what did I do? And for Royce White, that will be his fifth.
So interesting decision to make right now. You can see in the replay, Royce gets a little bit of physical play there. Playoff foul. Making sure that Anthony Cox doesn't continue his motion.
Neil Gordon
opportunity
with
a three-point play.
Neil Gordon with the replay for us.
So good defensive stop there. A playoff foul by Royce White.
And this is, the struggles continue here for Cox, as he now 1 of 3 from the stripe, and only 3 points. But doing it defensively with 11 rebounds in this game. As we take a look at Cox, he's one of the favorites here. Always smiling, always in a good mood. One of the fan favorites. Sinks that one, and it's 101-87. Royce White brings it to the paint, kicks it out. Here's Anderson now. Swings it cross court over to Cadogan. Royce White. Anderson, long distance 3, but it goes. Splash. 104-87.
Great response on the evening by Ryan Anderson, and particularly in this fourth quarter. Was off to a cold start, slow start in the first 3 quarters, but that's what veteran presence shows up, right? A guy that's been very dependent on all season long for the London Lightning, and Anderson knocking down that very important 3-ball. And he's in double digits now. So you got 5 guys in double digits for the Lightning.
And Dixon struggling there from downtown tonight. Make it 1 of 6 after that miss. 104-87, 4.5 left. Anderson, oh, White with the blown coverage and the one-handed jam.
Can't have that.
If this was London back at the Budweiser Gardens, they'd be going nuts now and be noisy, but this is the Scotiabank Center, and it's crickets.
Well, I can tell you what, they're going nuts at 93 and King, that's for sure.
Whoa, there's a big collision. Demolition derby here at the Scotiabank Center. Cadogan hits the dirt. Practically wearing a piece of the Scotiabank Center floor after that one, and we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, Cadogan trying to play and trying to fight and get in front of Antoine Mason. Accidental contact between him and Bowen.
4:08 left to go. 19-point deficit. So barring the roof collapsing, London Lightning taking a 3-2 series lead. Still 4 to go. Cox wide open and he can't hit. It's a second chance and one.
Got lucky, stayed with it as Cox blew the wide open layup. Was able to gather himself, keep his composure.
Lightning foul on Kyle Johnson.
Nice no-look pass there by Clinkscales. Stayed with it. Lightning unable to gather and get to the loose ball as Cox would give himself an opportunity to complete the three-point play. But that's been pretty much the way things have been going for the Hurricanes. When they do get easy opportunities, they're not able to convert, and it's Cox unable to convert there. But when the London Lightning, you got to give them credit. They've been making it very tough, and making it very difficult for the Hurricanes to score on the offensive end with their outstanding swarming defense.
16th foul there as the foul's called against Bowen, his first. So the teams right now in the situation, no fouls to give for the rest of the game. London have 17 fouls, Hurricanes 6 with 3:43 left to go. Shot clock at 10. White, Anderson from the corner, splash. 109-89, 20-point deficit at a very, very quiet. Is there anybody here at the Scotiabank Center? Yes, there is, but you can't tell by the silence.
Ryan Anderson now with 14 on the evening. Knocking down shots late. Only 5 for 7 from the field, but they've been big points in this fourth quarter. Most of that 14, I would say, definitely coming in this fourth quarter in timely situations in their half-court sets.
Royce White pointed up the clock, says it's our friend right now, so let's take as much time as we can. Shot clock at 3-2. Cadogan, lost the handle. 24-second shot clock violation, but if you're the London Lightning, as I mentioned, the time is on your side. 2:54 left. The jumper doesn't go. And now they back coming the other way as Williamson got in behind the D, spins away, and does the layup drill off the glass and in. 111-89, 2:39 left.
Yeah, it looks like, right now, the Hurricanes are definitely undone. Kind of look like they're giving up on this one. A lot of easy opportunities, easy buckets in transition. Guys not getting back, not fighting defensively through screens, not fighting the work around the ball, making sure that they're making it tough on the Lightning. So the Lightning are getting pretty much anything they want on their offensive sets.
Well, when your first and third best players aren't playing, this result really not much of a surprise right now as Billy White with an ankle injury that he sustained here in this game as Clinkscales hits the 3, 2 to go here, and some of the fans starting to make their way home here as Royce White there with the one-handed stuff makes it 113-89 with 1:55 left to go.
Shooting clinic and layup drill and slam dunk competition by Royce White.
Yeah, like
too easy for Royce White on the evening. You knew he was going to be good this evening. You knew he was going to put all the pressure on the Hurricanes defense, and they just didn't show up this evening.
Last year, this building saw a championship banner and a championship trophy being handed out. Now it won't be. If they're going to have to do it, they're going to have to do it in London, and they're going to have to win 2 straight to do it. As the meantime, Coriate Tiberi will get his first points of the evening out of Cincinnati, 113-91. Johnson, couple of crossovers. Singleton into the game here, getting some first minutes.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you got a lead like this. You want to rest your guys. The new game number 6 is going to be Monday night in London, so why not rest some of your stars?
Now time for the circus, so now let's bring out some of the streamers here as the jam show is on as Johnson puts that in 115-91, 1:15 left.
Yeah, not a good effort this evening for the Hurricanes, but you gotta tip your hat to the Lightning as they knew they could get a stranglehold on this series if they were able to win game number 5, going back for game number 6 and an opportunity to close this one out.
Less than a minute to go. As you hear Chris Lyon, thanks to volunteers. Once again, we want to thank our technical staff that have brought this throughout the entire year. As we get into the closing stages, and Games 6 and 7 will be brought to you on NBL Canada YouTube by the London Lightning crew. So we hope you tune in and watch Games 6 and 7. They'll be Monday and Tuesday here.
Quick shout out there to Aaron Sanders, who does an outstanding job for the Windsor Express, now hooking up part of the Knoxham crew that'll will stream games number 6 as, if necessary, games number 7 as he latches on to the London Lightning play-by-play crew as Knoxham Sports taking over for those games in London. Say hello to Aaron and see you down the road.
1:15 to 92 and 30 seconds left to go. A very quiet Scotiabank Center, hoping maybe this series would go 3-2 in their favor. Seeing their team head to London. Oh, and the big jam there by Singleton. Give me the ball, he says, and I'll slam it down. 1:17 to 92. And a foul called against Friesen.
And that right there is the exclamation point when you have the 12th man come off the bench, uncontested to the rim, and throw it down on the biggest guy on the floor. That pretty much tells you where this game has went and what direction it was going, and it has gone since the opening tap. Total control of this game.
This is sort of what I was kind of expecting out of the London Lightning in this series, pretty well most every game. This was their perfect game to come.
Exactly. You knew that there was going to be a game such like this, and they are handing it to the Hurricanes right now.
And they're definitely giving the Hurricanes maybe a little bit of, giving the Hurricanes a lack of confidence heading up for Game 6 and 7.
Well, it's going to be difficult. Definitely an uphill climb in Game 6.
Mason on the take and the easy bucket as the London Lightning just standing there like pylons, letting them go, and now they'll bounce this out. 1:17 to 95 as the ownership group stands up and shows their appreciation. The last time that they get a chance to see the Hurricanes, hopefully they'll bring home a championship is what's in their mind, but they have a tough task ahead of them to do it.
Easily their best game of the series. They show you why that they are the best team in this league. A perfect performance from all 12 guys. You want to put Singleton in there as well. He did his thing getting into the act. So a disappointing loss for the Hurricanes in their last game here, but their backs against the wall. It's going to be an uphill climb from the win Game 6 game.
Thank you very much, Vince. Of course, Vince will have the post-game show that you can catch on nblcanada.ca. And once again, thank our entire production crew, not just for this game, but the entire season. And of course, I also want to send a thank you to Matt Curry and Jen Cotterill for bringing me aboard to allow me to do webcasting here for you. It's been a pleasure, and we hope that you could join us next year here on NBL Canada. For Vince Williams, Matt Elliott, Alan April, and the entire Silver Vision crew, my name is Dan Hobson. Thank you for tuning in. So long from the Scotiabank Center. You've been watching NBL Canada on YouTube.